we have made them believe that paper is going to be easy. And who has said, is there any rule that has been written that paper will be easy? It is not. It is only our assumption, both students, parents and coaching, that it is going to be easy. But a competition is competition. They can ask you very easy paper, they can ask you very tough paper. It is their choice.
The way it is setting papers, like 1 year it is very easy, other year it is very tough. Just throw a light on it, sir. Like, what do you feel?
100 students start coming on one rank, then it is problem, because how will you differentiate who should go to AIMS, who should not go to AIMS, who should go to MAMC, who should go to JIPMER, who should go to good colleges. So basically we need to segregate the students, and only a good paper will segregate students so that not every student lie on the same mark. You should not worry about things which you can't control. For example, outcomes, results, you can't control. So you should not worry about it. So I've seen AIMS paper, I have seen 2016 paper which was very tough, and I have seen 2021 paper which was again tough. But this paper, I would say, was tougher than any of the paper asked in the NEET exam or AIMS exam. It was tougher than the JEE main exam, and in fact a lot of questions given to JEE mains they would not have solved.
Hello everyone, ఎలా ఉన్నారు అందరూ? సో ఇప్పుడు నేను చాలా ముఖ్యమైన వ్యక్తితో ఉన్నాను, బికాజ్ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ డిస్కషన్ మీరు వినాలి. అది నేను కొన్ని మీ తరపు నుంచి క్వశ్చన్స్ కూడా అడుగుతాను. సో ఎవరా ఇంపార్టెంట్ వ్యక్తి అనుకుంటున్నారా? వేదాంతుకి చాలా కీలకమైన ముగ్గురు వ్యక్తుల్లో ఒక ముఖ్యమైన వ్యక్తితో నేను ఉన్నాను. అది ఇట్ ఈస్ నన్ అదర్ దాన్ ఏపీ సార్. సో మీ అందరికీ తెలుసు, ఆనంద్ ప్రకాష్ సార్ వేదాంతు కో-ఫౌండర్. సో ఆనంద్ ప్రకాష్ సార్ గురించి నేను మీకు కొన్ని చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ విషయాలు చెప్పాలి. ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్, వేదాంతులో అకాడమిక్స్ పార్ట్ ఇంత అద్భుతంగా జరుగుతున్నాయి. మన జేఈ కోచింగ్ కానీ, నీట్ కోచింగ్ కానీ, ఎబ్సెట్ కోచింగ్ కానీ, ఏదైనా కోచింగ్, లెట్ ఇట్ బి ఒలింపియాడ్స్ ప్రిపరేషన్ అయినా, ఏ కోచింగ్ అయినా కూడా, ఏ బ్యాచ్ అయినా కూడా ఇంత అద్భుతంగా జరుగుతోంది అంటే దాని వెనుక ఉన్న ఏకైక బలమైన వ్యక్తి ఎవరు అంటే మన ఏపీ సార్. సో ఈరోజు ఇప్పుడు సినారియో ఏంటి అంటే, నీట్ ఎగ్జామినేషన్ జరిగింది. నీట్ 2025 గురించి మీ అందరికీ తెలుసు. పిల్లలందరూ కూడా ఒక రకమైన మైండ్ సెట్లో ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళు బాధపడాలా, లేదంటే పేపర్ టఫ్గా వచ్చింది, కట్ ఆఫ్స్ తగ్గుతాయని సంతోషపడాలా, ఏమీ డిసైడ్ చేసుకోలేకపోతున్నారు. సో ఇలాంటి సందర్భంలో ఎక్స్పర్ట్స్ ఏం మాట్లాడుతున్నారు, వాళ్ళతో మాట్లాడినప్పుడు మీకు కొంచెం సాంత్వన ఉంటుంది. అంటే మనం బాగానే రాసాము, బాగా రాయలేదా, ఇవన్నీ మీరు తెలుసుకోవాలి అనుకుంటే మనం సార్తో మాట్లాడాలి. హలో సార్, వెల్కమ్ టు వేదాంతు తెలుగు ఛానల్.
హ్యాపీ టు బి హియర్ మ్యామ్.
Thank you sir, it's our pleasure. So first of all sir, all the students are in a state of mind where they are not able to decide post NEET examination, like they have written well or not written well, because they were doing good in the mock test. Now they have their performance, they are not satisfied with their performance. So how do you see this NEET 2025 examination sir?
Ma'am, first of all, I would say to students it was very bad for all of them, because it was a shock paper for them. For the last 4 years they have been preparing for a very easy paper. Last year it was very easy paper, and most of us, most of the coaching institute, we also trained them for easy papers, and therefore when they actually attempted the paper, it was a shock moment. And therefore and I have a lot of students, because this was the first year when I also taught one NEET batch full 2 years, and these were my students. And I knew few students who were scoring 680, 690 continuously. But after the exam, they came back and they said, sir, I have actually just attempted, few questions, not able to attempt all, and I am getting this as marks. So a lot of them are getting 580, 570, 560, 590. So definitely 100 marks have reduced for everyone who were writing the exams. And they started feeling that they will not get selected. But I think it was a difficult paper, number one. It was a very shocking paper for the students. But one thing that every student who actually has given the NEET should understand, that it is not the marks which decide a college. It's the rank which decides the college. And a rank 1 can get at 720 also, like last year. There were so many students. It was very easy paper. And it can also happen at 670, 660, which I am expecting this year, because I have not heard a single student who is getting more than 700.
Yes sir. So చాలా వాల్యుబుల్ మాట చెప్పారు సార్. మార్క్స్ కాదు మీకు కాలేజ్ తెప్పించేది, ఇట్ ఈస్ ర్యాంక్. సో ర్యాంక్ అనేది డిసైడ్ చేస్తుంది కాబట్టి మీరు మార్క్స్ చూసి డిసప్పాయింట్ అవ్వద్దు. అండ్ ఇక్కడ నేను మీకు ఒక చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ పాయింట్ చెప్పాలి. సార్ ఇన్ని బాధ్యతలు ఉన్నా కూడా ఒక కో-ఫౌండర్గా, ఒక అకాడమిక్ అన్నీ కూడా చూసుకుంటూ ఇంత వర్క్లోడ్ ఉన్నా కూడా ఆయన టీచింగ్ అనేదాన్ని వదలలేదు. టీచింగ్ అంటే చాలా ఇష్టం సార్కి, ఈజ్ వెరీ ప్యాషనెట్ అబౌట్ టీచింగ్. సో లాస్ట్ 2 years నుంచి సార్ నీట్ బ్యాచ్లో కంటిన్యూస్గా క్లాసెస్ చెప్తున్నారు. సో ఆ బ్యాచ్లో స్టూడెంట్స్కి ఎలా అయితే కోచింగ్ ఇచ్చారో దానిని బేస్ చేసుకుని కూడా సార్ పేపర్ అనాలిసిస్ అనేది మీకు చెప్పడం జరుగుతుంది. సో ఇంకొన్ని క్వశ్చన్స్ అడుగుదాము. సార్, యాజ్ యు ఆర్ సేయింగ్ ద మార్క్స్ లైక్ 100 marks have gone down. How do you find the students' feedback, sir? Like how they are talking to you? Like are they depressed or how are they feeling, sir?
They are in complete shock. First of all, I have been consoling students. I have been talking to the parents also, because most of these students whom I taught, right, their parents used to call me, they used to talk to me. So they called after the exam that my kid who was scoring 680, 690 and they were sure of GMC, now the student is scoring 580, 590 and likes. So these students are just behaving like crazy in the house. They are actually not listening to the parents. They are feeling that they are guilty, that they have done something wrong, some crime. But students, all I can tell you that you have done your hard work, and I think you should celebrate that hard work. And again I will tell you, it's not the rank. This time the cutoff is going to be very, very low, and I have a very scientific way of telling you what should be the cutoff. But I will tell you, this is for definite, the cutoff is going to be low. So you should not be worried. You should wait for the results to come. And until unless it comes, nobody can tell you exactly what is going to be the cutoff. There is logic behind it, but nobody is going to tell you. So be confident, enjoy your hard work. All you can do is that. But I know, ma'am, this is very shocking for the students. And somewhere it's fault of we coaching also. I believe, because we have made them believe that paper is going to be easy. And who has said, is there any rule that has been written that paper will be easy? It is not. It is only our assumption, both students, parents and coaching, that it is going to be easy. But a competition is competition. They can ask you very easy paper, they can ask you very tough paper. It is their choice.
Yes, absolutely. సో యా, ఇంకొక చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్ విషయం చెప్పారు, చాలా వాల్యుబుల్ ఇది. సో నేను సార్ని ఏం అడిగానంటే, తర్వాత పిల్లలు ఎలా ఫీల్ అవుతున్నారు, మీతో ఏం మాట్లాడుతున్నారు అంటే, సార్ చెప్పిన విషయము, ఎస్ ఆబ్వియస్గా అందరూ డల్గా ఫీల్ అవుతారు, ఎస్పెషల్లీ పేరెంట్స్ వాళ్ళ పిల్లలు ఎంత కష్టపడడం చూసారు, సో కొంచెం డిప్రెస్డ్గా ఫీల్ అవుతారు. కానీ సార్ ఏం చెప్తున్నారంటే, ఈ సినారియో అంతా కూడా మనం కల్పించుకున్నది, మనం తయారు చేసుకున్నది. ఇది మన కోచింగ్ సెంటర్లు కానివ్వండి, లేదంటే మన మైండ్ సెట్. లాస్ట్ 2 years పేపర్ ఈజీగా వచ్చింది, సో ఇట్ ఈస్ ఈజీ, నేను ఈజీగానే పేపర్ ఇవ్వాలి అని మనం ఫిక్స్ అయిపోయాం. కానీ అలా రూల్ లేదు కదా. పేపర్ సెట్టింగ్ చేసే వాళ్ళ నిర్ణయం, వాళ్ళ ఇష్టం. పేపర్ టఫ్గా ఇవ్వాలా, పేపర్ ఈజీగా ఇవ్వాలా, ఎలా ఇచ్చినా ఒక స్టూడెంట్ ప్రిపరేషన్ స్ట్రాంగ్గా ఉండాలి అనేది చాలా వాల్యుబుల్ పాయింట్ అనమాట. ఇది మనం చాలా నోట్ చేసుకోవాలి. సార్, విల్ గో టు ద కట్ ఆఫ్స్ ఇన్ టు ద లేటర్ పార్ట్, సార్. But just give a small opinion of yours, sir. What do you think, sir? NTA, the way it is setting papers, like 1 year it is very easy, other year it is very tough. So how do you, just throw a light on it, sir? Like what do you feel?
Ma'am, see, again I will say this. It's very easy to blame someone else, right?
Yes.
I think there are only 3 people involved. One is the student, other is parent who is involved in the journey, and the third is the teacher or the coaching which is involved in the journey. Last year I blamed NTA because of the unfair means. There were paper leak information, there were like the way it was conducted was bad, and I think we should all object that. But paper easy or tough, it is their choice, and I think making it tough, personally, it is my opinion. I choose not to be wrong, but I believe in this, that a exam, especially an exam which is creating good doctors in the country, should have a good segregation. For example, a top rank and the second rank, there should be a gap. There should be a gap between first rank and a 50 rank or a 100 rank. If 100 students start coming on one rank, then it is problem, because how will you differentiate who should go to AIMS, who should not go to AIMS, who should go to MAMC, who should go to JIPMER, who should go to good colleges. So basically we need to segregate these students, and only a good paper will segregate students so that not every student lie on the same marks. Yes. So therefore I personally believe what NTA has done is good, and they have actually changed the direction. It is good. What they have done wrong in this paper is they have put some questions which were actually non-solvable even by the student, even by the teacher. And if they have increased the level, they should have decreased the number of questions, because solving that many questions in a time frame was difficult for anyone in the country.
Sir. సో ఎస్ సార్ ఐ థింక్ మీకు సార్ చెప్పింది చాలా క్లియర్గా చెప్పారు. వన్ మోర్ క్వశ్చన్ ఐ వుడ్ లైక్ టు ఆస్క్ హియర్ సార్. ద పేపర్ సెట్టింగ్, ద టైమ్ లిమిట్, మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద స్టూడెంట్స్ వర్ టెల్లింగ్ దట్ టైమ్స్ వాజ్ నాట్ సఫిషియంట్. టైమ్ మేనేజ్మెంట్ వాజ్ ద బిగ్గెస్ట్ ప్రాబ్లమ్ ఫర్ దెమ్. దిస్ ఇస్ వన్ పాయింట్ ఐ వాంట్ టు ఆస్క్ యూ. అండ్ బీయింగ్ అ ఫిజిక్స్ టీచర్, హౌ డూ యూ ఫీల్ అబౌట్ ద ఫిజిక్స్ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ NEET 2025?
Okay, so first I will take your first question, the time management. I think again, as I said, again continuously I will say, it's our duty to ensure that they are exposed. When I say they, students should be exposed to very tough paper, very easy paper, so that they are aware of the time management. And it was not about attempting all the question, because the students were going with a preconceived mindset that 650 should be the cutoff, and therefore they wanted to attempt every question. And in that way, lot of students in the last, when they had very less time, they started attempting every question, guesswork, lot of questions, and therefore they got a lot of negative marks. Now I would say I have been teaching for the last 20 years, mentoring students. Although in the last few years I did not teach consecutively, but this was the first year surprisingly this was the year when I taught the NEET batch. And I would say I have not seen anything like this in physics for the last 20 years of my career. So I have seen AIMS paper, because AIMS paper sometimes it was only 1 or 2 years when they released the paper, otherwise they used to keep the paper. But I used to discuss with the students, so I know exactly what kind of questions AIMS asked. So I have seen AIMS paper, I have seen 2016 paper which was very tough, and I have seen 2021 paper which was again tough. But this paper I would say was tougher than any of the paper asked in the NEET exam or AIMS exam. It was tougher than the JEE main exam.
Oh, yes.
And in fact, a lot of questions given to JEE mains they would not have solved. And I can bet that even the very good student of JEE main would not have solved this paper completely in physics in the given time frame.
Yes, sir. So, sir kuda ade cheptunnaru, physics paper ఆయన 20 years ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్లో కూడా ఇంత టఫ్ పేపర్ చూడలేదంట. సో నిజంగా ఎవరైనా ఫిజిక్స్లో దాదాపుగా ఒక 60 మార్క్స్ 70 దగ్గరలో మీరు చేశారు అంటే యూ హ్యావ్ డన్ ఎక్సలెంట్లీ వెల్. సో మీరేమి డిప్రెస్ అవ్వదు. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ కంక్లూజన్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు రిమెంబర్, బికాస్ సార్ మెనీ పీపుల్ స్టూడెంట్స్ హ్యావ్ స్పోకెన్ టు మీ, మ్యామ్ వెన్ వీ వర్ డూయింగ్ మార్క్స్ ఇన్ physics we used to get 80, above 100, 120 marks also we used to get. Now at least they would have get some confidence that array 60 marks I have done
60
good.
60 is good, ma'am.
Good, sir. Yes, sir. So now coming to this marks, sir. Now students should feel like what is the how do you take, sir? Like how do you analyze the cutoffs? Like what is your criteria? Where should the student feel safe that okay, I have got some good marks?
Okay. Again, great question, ma'am, because I think I will use it some scientific way of explaining the cutoff. Again, this is my point of view. Do not take this as a a line in the sand, because typically it can be wrong also. But I will tell you from my experience. Usually any NEET student, they start with bio, then they go to chemistry, and then they go to physics. Anyone who actually reverse pattern, I think they were in for a shock. But 90% of the students, they attempt in this fashion. Now bio, it was lengthy, but it was doable. So every student who started with bio, I felt they had a good chance. Anyone who is getting into GMC, they will score above 300, because there were 3-4 questions which were difficult, but all the questions were doable except these 2 or 3. So typically the average score will be around 310 for those who are getting into GMC. It can go up to 320 also. So plus minus 10, you can say 300 to 320. Chemistry, after that, first half it would have been good because they would have felt, okay, bio was little lengthy, I will cover it in chemistry or physics. So they would have started it well. And by the time they would have come towards the end of chemistry, shock or suddenly the palpitation would have increased because they would have felt that, okay, I'm getting less time now. So in chemistry, they would have done silly mistake towards the end, but average marks would be around 130, 140. So 310, 140 is 450. So 450 to 470 is marks which they have scored. If any student who is getting these many marks in bio and chemistry, they would have left with no time for physics. Only 40 or 50 minutes for physics, not more than that. And in that time frame, physics scoring more than 60 marks is almost difficult. To get more than 100, 120 marks, they would have actually required minimum of 1 hour. So 40 minutes, they would not have scored more than 60 or 70, and that will be the cutoff for GMC. So 60, 70 here, 450 above, and therefore 510, 520, at max 530 is the cutoff that I am predicting. It can be much lower than this because in 2016, although it was not a part of NTA and a lot of states were not participating, but the cutoff was around 420. So 2016.
Yes, sir.
In 2021, the cutoff was around 570. So typically it was much difficult than that, and therefore the cutoff has to be around 510, 530, not more than that. So any student who is scoring more than 540, 550, they are on the complete safe side. Any student who is between 480 and 550, I believe it's almost like they are Schrodinger's cat. Yes. You know, Schrodinger cat, na? In physics, until unless you open that box in quantum mechanics, you say, you don't know whether the cat is dead or alive, right? So this is the same state until unless result comes. No matter how much I predict, how much ma'am predicts, how much anyone on YouTube claims, you don't know whether you are qualified or not qualified. So I think you are just like a Schrodinger cat, and therefore the better part is you should enjoy this hard work in the next 20, 30 days till the time result comes, because it can be good for you, it can be bad for you, and that is the time when you can be happy or you can be sad for some time. But this is a time why to waste the 20, 30 days thinking could have been, should have been, would have been, when it was not your day. So please don't think about that. And I think it's life, it's competition, it's journey, it's a process, and we should just move on from this.
Yes, sir. So these words are very soothing for many people, sir, because they are in a utter confusion state that will they be doing it or not, will they be qualifying or not. So sir cheppindi meer vinnar kada, it's a really very scientific analysis. So chala promising ga undi, chala baagundi. So everaina 510 paina, especially sir you told about the AQ, but coming to Telugu state, sir, it would be a little bit lower. So Telugu state students kuda meer evaraina 510 in the general category. So 510 దగ్గరలో ఉన్నారు అంటే కూడా మీకు GMCs ఈజీగా వస్తాయమ్మా. సో do not lose your hope, because చాలా మంది డిప్రెషన్లో నాకు 540 వస్తుంది, 530 వస్తుంది, సో వాట్ షుడ్ ఐ డూ, am I getting any GMC or not. సో కొంచెం చిల్ అవ్వండి, ఏం ప్రాబ్లం లేదు, కొంచెం రిలాక్స్ అవ్వండి. అండ్ ఎగ్జామ్ అయిపోయింది కదా, కొంచెం రిలాక్స్ అవ్వండి, జస్ట్ వెయిట్. సో సార్ చెప్పినట్లు ఇట్స్ జస్ట్ లైక్ స్ట్రోడింజర్ క్యాట్. సో వెయిట్ చేయండి, అంతేగాని ఎక్కువ డెసిషన్స్ ఏమీ తీసుకోవద్దు, ఎగ్జామ్ అయిపోయింది కాబట్టి. సో ఫ్రమ్ హియర్ ఐ విల్ గెట్ అ లిటిల్ మోర్ టు అవర్ నెక్స్ట్ క్వశ్చన్, సార్. Now, NEET is a kind of examination where many students aspire, it's their dream to become a doctor. So to achieve the dream, maybe certain times the one attempt is not sufficient due to various reasons. So many people think of taking a drop. Now how would you analyze, sir? Is this the time where they have to think about the drop, or what kind of mindset should be there to take a drop first of all?
Ma'am, so it's a very good question. It's a difficult question because there are two parts of it. One, what should be the mindset, and who should take a drop. Typically, any student whose parents want them to be doctor, whose parents wish is to take a drop, whose friends are dropping and therefore they want to drop, I think they should not take a drop, because drop is a very personal decision. By this time, you have already, when you were in 11th, moving from 10th to first PU, right? Typically, you were young and the decisions were taken by your parents. But now you are matured in the last 2 years, and the decision, and if you are a repeater, you are already mature. So the decision should be yours, because there can be a lot of reasons. Your parents want you to be a doctor, but you don't want. So please don't drop just because anyone else wants you to be. It's a very difficult year. It's a year where you have to really work hard. You have to completely 24 hours, you have to concentrate, because even while going into sleep, you have to go with a concentration. You cannot lose your focus. And if you lose your focus, it will be your choice, right? So therefore, it's difficult choice. And anyone with a very, I would say timid heart, or not timid is the wrong word, but I think with someone who can be fearful, they should not take a drop. They have to be very strong in that drop year. And
should not be emotional also.
Yeah, should not be emotional at this point of time. It should be a very practical decision. I have seen a lot of people, average drop for being a doctor is 2 to 3 years. So because it's a long syllabus, it's a vast syllabus, so a lot of students take time. But they have to change the approach. I think in the past, they have actually mugged up physics a lot. And physics is a rank booster. I would not say deciding factor. It's bio which is deciding, because 50% comes from bio. So they have to change the approach of physics, the way they have been learning, especially the foundational topics like mechanics, like electrostatics. They have to, understand the concepts also. And little bit, not very difficult, because this was the most difficult. I won't, again, as I said, at Vedantu will prepare for any environment going forward. But I think the paper will be not of this level. This was a shock paper, more like NTA saying that, okay, you said it was very easy, now it's my time to take that revenge. It was almost like that, but it was a shock paper. Next year, it will be a balanced paper. This is what I'm expecting, but it is not going to be extremely easy going ahead. That's for sure. And we have to be prepared for anything. So we have to be prepared for 720 also. We have to be prepared for 680 as the highest also.
Yes, sir.
So very strong mindset. They have to do it systematically, and they have to actually choose a place where people are experienced, who actually have seen the tough paper, who have seen the easy paper, and who have that experience and range to teach everything in 1 year time frame.
Yes. Actually, this leads to my next question also, sir. So, usually we train the students keeping on the previous year's papers, how the scenario is going on for NEET. So, how do you think, sir, the students prepare for next year, 2026, those who are going to write NEET examination? How do you tell them that the preparation method, or the way approach, the way how they have to keep in mind, what points they have to keep in mind?
First of all, again, it's a very good question. I would say the approach doesn't change much. Bio is not going to change. Bio is going to be same. It has always remained same. It is becoming little lengthier, but it has always been the same. So you have to practice more lengthier questions. The theory comes from NCERT. There are 2 or 3 questions which are out of NCERT, but again, for that 3 questions, we cannot waste our time. So if the 97% is coming from NCERT, so we should focus on NCERT, and we should not change the way we have been studying bio. Chemistry remains the same, because again, they cannot making it tough doesn't make sense, because chemistry, there is physical, organic, inorganic, you can understand and still get marks. You can remember, mug it up, and then still you can get marks. Physical, yeah, they have to practice a little bit. So don't change anything in chemistry. Physics, I think they will have to change little bit, as I said earlier. And they will have to start solving little bit of books like H.C. Verma, and that too not all exercise questions, but question for short answers, yes. Objective 1, objective 2. These are the things that they have to solve the way we used to recommend for AIMS.
Yes, sir.
So earlier, when AIMS used to be separate, I used to recommend that this is a must do for every student preparing for AIMS, these 3 things. And even if you remain the same in physics, ultimately, if the paper is going to be tough, the cutoff is going to be lower. And if cutoff is going to be lower, you have to be very good in bio and chemistry.
Yes, sir. సో ఇక్కడ సార్ చెప్పిన 2 పాయింట్స్ నేను మీకు కలిపి చెప్తాను. ఫస్ట్ థింగ్, నేను సార్ని ఎవరు డ్రాప్ తీసుకోవాలి, ఎలాంటి మైండ్ సెట్ ఉన్న వాళ్ళు డ్రాప్ తీసుకోవాలి అని అడిగాను. సో దానికి చాలా అద్భుతమైన ఆన్సర్ వచ్చింది. నెవర్ టేక్ అన్ ఎమోషనల్ డెసిషన్. ఇప్పుడేదో మార్క్స్ తక్కువ వచ్చాయి కాబట్టి నేను వెంటనే డ్రాప్ తీసుకోవాలి, నెక్స్ట్ ఏదో ఒకటి చేసేయాలి, అలా కాకుండా బికాస్ డ్రాప్ తీసుకోవడం అనేది చాలా ప్రాక్టికల్ సిచ్యువేషన్లో మీరు నిర్ణయం తీసుకోవాలి. బికాస్ మళ్ళీ ఇంకొక ఇయర్ పాటు అదే సిలబస్, అదే స్ట్రెంగ్త్తో, అదే మోటివేషన్తో, అదే హార్డ్ వర్క్తో మీరు ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వాలి. సో దీనికి మీరు రెడీ అయితేనే మీ పర్సనల్ చాయిస్గా తీసుకోవాలి తప్ప మీ పేరెంట్స్ డ్రీమ్ కాబట్టి మీరు చేద్దాము అని చేస్తే ఇది కొంచెం మీకు భారం అవుతుంది. ఇది పాయింట్ నెంబర్ 1. పాయింట్ నెంబర్ 2, నేను సార్ని ఏం అడిగానంటే ఇప్పుడు ఈ 2025, 2024 రెండు రకాల క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్స్. సో ఇప్పుడు 2026కి ఒక స్టూడెంట్ ఎలా ప్రిపేర్ అవ్వాలి అనేది నేను సార్ని అడిగాను. సో బిగ్ అకాడమిక్ లీడ్ మన వేదాంతులో సార్కి చాలా ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ ఉంది. సో ఆ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్తో ఆయన చెప్పిన ఏకైక సమాధానం, పెద్దగా ఏమీ మార్పు ఉండదు. బికాస్ పేపర్ టఫ్గా వచ్చినా ఈజీగా వచ్చినా నీ ప్రిపరేషన్ లెవెల్స్ మారిపోకూడదు నెక్స్ట్ ఇయర్కి. ఎప్పుడు ఏదైతే స్ట్రెంగ్త్తో, ఏదైతే ఎనర్జీతో, ఏదైతే జీల్తో నువ్వు చదువుతున్నావో అదే జీల్తో అండ్ అప్రోచ్ కూడా ఏమీ పెద్దగా మారక్కర్లేదు అని సార్ చెప్తున్నారు. సో కాబట్టి కీప్ గోయింగ్. సో డోంట్ వరీ అమ్మ, పెద్దగా ఏమీ ప్లాన్స్లో చేంజ్ ఉండక్కర్లేదు. కాబట్టి ఈవెన్ ఇఫ్ యు ఆర్ టేకింగ్ డ్రాప్ ఆల్సో మీకు ఏమీ భారం అవ్వదు, మీరు చాలా చక్కగా చేయగలుగుతారు. సో సార్, ఫ్రమ్ హియర్ I would like to ask you another question leading from here. So at Vedantu, you design the structure and the way the things go in academics. So how are you anticipating, sir, next things like for NEET preparation? What are we going to do at Vedantu?
So usually we have been little difficult and we have been criticized for that. That our physics was difficult. Already we have been teaching physics at a little difficult level. I think we'll modify the pattern of questions, and one of the things that will change is not much into teaching pattern but more into shock elements. So it's never about the content because content remains the same. You have to study the same Newton laws of motion, but the approach of remembering all the stuff will change little bit. We'll also start giving them concepts and conceptual questions, but more than that it has to be during the test, during our part test, during our regular test, we'll have to implement the shock elements. Some paper will be extremely tough for them, some paper will be extremely easy for them. This year when we were conducting the paper, ma'am, I will tell you, a lot of students called me. I was interacting with a lot of students and they said, sir, this coaching is asking this type of paper, why are you asking so tough paper? Because a lot of our paper, and it was not by design, I would not say we were like we had predicted tough paper or something like that, but it was like we always, every year I try to ensure that we compare with my top students who have got rank 1, rank 4 and who have given AIMS. So we used to give some AIMS paper also to them, and invariably the paper were tough. So a lot of students used to complain that this coaching is not taking tough, why are you taking tough? And then we had to change because every student was not writing our paper. They were trying to go through some other coaching to write the paper because of that. So I think we'll continue to have that paper. One thing that I would request all the students is that you need to be mentally flexible, that any competitive exam can be very easy, it can be very difficult, and it's all mental game. And you have to be mentally strong, because as a doctor, let's say, ma'am, your student becomes a doctor, and tomorrow he or she gets a patient who is in a very bad state. Can he or she refuse that being a doctor, I will not treat this patient because he is in a bad state, I will want a good patient who is in a good state?
Yes.
As a doctor, you cannot. So you are becoming the future of this country, and if you are becoming the future of the country, you have to be prepared, and these exams are preparing you mentally for that condition, to take any shock. And that's where I believe it was not NTA's fault, it was our fault who did not prepare you so strong at mentally, that convinced you enough that you have to give this paper. So we will not change anything, much changes, but yes, we'll ask our teachers to ensure that it's not 100% mugging up. As you are physics teacher also, we also know that after magnetism, almost every chapter is about understanding, but you can still mug up, because they are individual chapters, like ray optics, wave optics, like the modern physics. Every chapter can be mugged up and still you can score marks. But chapters like electrostatics, mechanics, you have to understand the concept. And I think that's what NTA played with. They played with the mindset there were few first set. You remember this question,
I
surface
remember.
tension question.
Yes, sir. First question itself is a like shock for the
In
student.
48 code, it was first question, right? And it is very shocking, right? Because trust me, I have seen this paper in JEE, this type of question in JEE Advance, long back when there was a subjective paper, and that was a ray optics question, wherein the wave, it was changing at, path was changing at every moment, and then you have to find a question around it. So this question was almost similar to that, using surface tension, which neither student understands, neither teacher understands. So a concept so tough already, you have added a difficult part to it. So I can just pity the student. I know students, no matter how much I console you, no matter how much everyone consoles you, you are going through that phase, which is your to walk alone. All we teachers at Vedantu, we can support you in this state, but we cannot understand your state. Because 2 years you have been prepared to think that the exam is going to be easy. So it was shock, and it is not easy to come out of it. But all you can do, and all I can request you, is to enjoy this 1.5 months before the results come, because you can't do anything about it. Whatever has been done, it's been done.
సో ఎస్, చాలా వాల్యుబుల్ పాయింట్ అమ్మా. నేను సార్ని అడగడం జరిగింది, ఎలా ట్యాకిల్ చేయాలి అసలు ఇలాంటి క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్స్ వస్తే, లేదా ఏంటి అసలు ఇలాంటి క్వశ్చన్ పేపర్స్ ఇవ్వచ్చా ఇవ్వకూడదా అని నేను అడిగాను. సో చాలా బ్యూటిఫుల్ ఆన్సర్ ఇచ్చారనమాట. సో ఇలాంటి ఎగ్జామ్స్ కండక్ట్ చేయడం, మీరు ఈ ఎగ్జామ్స్ అటెంప్ట్ చేయడం అనేది, ఇట్ ఈస్ జస్ట్ లైక్ యూ హ్యావ్ టు బీ రెడీ. ఎలాంటి షాకింగ్ సిచ్యువేషన్ అయినా నీకు సడన్గా ఎదురైతే నువ్వు దానిని ఎలా ట్యాకిల్ చేయాలి, లేదా కష్టమైన సమయాల్లో నీ మైండ్ ఎలా రియాక్ట్ అవుతుంది, నీ ఆలోచన విధానం ఎలా ఉంటుంది, ఆన్ ద స్పాట్ నీవు నీ మైండ్ స్టేట్ని ఎలా కంట్రోల్ చేసుకోగలుగుతావు. సో ఇలాంటివి నేర్పించడం కోసం కూడా ఇలాంటి ఎగ్జామ్స్ని మీరు ఫేస్ చేయాలి అని చెప్తున్నారు. సో ఎట్ ద ఎండ్ ఆఫ్ ద డే ఐ నో మీరు మొన్న ఎగ్జామ్ రాశారు కాబట్టి ఒక 2-3 రోజులు మీకు చాలా ఎఫెక్ట్ అవుతుంది మైండ్, అండ్ మీ కండిషన్ కూడా మేము ఎంత అర్థం అవుతుంది అని మేము చెప్పినా కూడా నీ మనసులో బాధ నీకే తెలుస్తుంది. బట్ దాన్ని కూడా ట్యాకిల్ చేయడం అనేది మన లైఫ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్లో ఒక భాగం అని చెప్తున్నారు. సో ఇది నిజంగా చాలా వాల్యుబుల్ అనమాట. సో సార్, ఫ్రమ్ దిస్ ఐ జస్ట్ వాంట్ టు ఆస్క్ యూ దాట్ how should be the state of mind of a student, sir, who is facing this kind of NEET examination or JEE or like this competitive world? What should be the state of mind, especially the person who is in 11th, 12th or especially dropper?
Ma'am, I think I would take this question in a very different way.
Yes.
I would request each and every teacher out there, including all teachers of Vedantu, who is not being a part of Vedantu, at this point of time, especially after COVID, I have seen students becoming very sensitive, and we as teachers, we need not to push them very hard. I know these are tough exams, life is a challenge, we have to all face that, but more than that, we have to be mentally strong. And I think we as teachers, we have our duty towards students to ensure that they are mentally strong. Yes. So apart from academics, I think all students, I request you to be very mentally strong. My mother, she always tells me one thing: you should not worry about things which you can't control. For example, outcomes, results, you can't control, so you should not worry about it. Yes. You should be worried about what things you can control. All you can control is your distraction. All you can control is your hard work. All you can control is your consistency of that hard work. So these are the things you can control. But outcome, results, what will happen, you are not controlling that. So please don't worry about anything you don't control. And this is a life lesson I have learned. I personally I don't think about anything which I can't control. I leave it to God, because God is almighty.
Yes, sir.
He will always, she will always take control of the things for us. And all we can do is just believe in yourself, think positive, and never lose hope. Because one exam at the end, we all know, ma'am is here, I'm here. Not everyone has, actually, we have all gone through that phase, but not everyone has qualified all the exams. So one exam cannot write your destiny. Destiny is every day you are writing your destiny. So any day you think you can control your own self, I think you have written your destiny beautifully. So don't think about anything else. Think about your own self. Be happy always. Keep that y is equal to x square on your faces.
Yes.
That's very important because life is very small, and and one unfortunate thing is these sensitive kids these days, they take unwanted steps also because of things before even results come. They might qualify, but they are just thinking too ahead of themselves.
Yes, sir.
And this is just the beginning of your life. I think life is beautiful, full of challenges. I would not say it is not, but I think we need to be just facing it. Every day we have to just walk one step ahead
Yes, sir.
and enjoy the journey.
సో చాలా బ్యూటిఫుల్గా చెప్పారు సార్. నీ చేతిలో లేని వాటి గురించి ఎక్కువగా ఆలోచించకు, నువ్వు కంట్రోల్ చేయలేని వాటి గురించి ఎక్కువ ఆలోచించకు. ఈ మార్క్స్, అవుట్కమ్స్ ఇవన్నీ తర్వాత సంగతి. ముందు నువ్వు ప్రయత్నం చేసావా లేదా, 100% చాలా బాగా కష్టపడి ప్రయత్నం చేసావా లేదా, దీని మీద మాత్రమే ఫోకస్ చెయ్యి అని చెప్తారు. అండ్ ఆబ్వియస్లీ సార్, I do agree. The time when I joined Vedantu also, I only listened this from you that student is important, not his how many marks he got, how many ranks he brought for us. That is not important. It is the student, his emotions, his feelings, and the way he is growing, his personality, his mental personality, everything is very important. So can you just give us a small little light on at Vedantu how do we treat children at offline centers also? మీకు తెలుసో తెలియదో సార్ పర్సనల్గా కూడా టీచర్స్ అందరికీ ట్రైన్ చేస్తారు how to treat with the students. Like sir guides us that let us not become another regular institution which is out there which concentrates only on ranks or marks. We have to concentrate student centric, a personal attention on the student. So all these things sir tell us. So sir, I do remember you always telling us that it is the student which is very important for us. We have to personally concentrate on each and every student. So just throw a light on it sir.
Ma'am, I will start with this answer with a story. When I started my teaching career, I was just fresh out of college. At 21, 22 year old, started in a state which was not mine. I was not born there. I was not, I did not grow up there. So it was Punjab, and we started teaching there by a coaching Laksh. Right, the name of the coaching was Laksh. We started there. So when we started, there were a lot of students who were 12th graders, because initially they came to us and it was only 30-40 odd kids. We started teaching them, and they were the ones who were left in the city. And as a teacher, if we would have tagged them that these are poor kids, I will not teach them, or because I am from IIT, I will only teach good students, I think it would have been injustice to them. So what we did was we just told them our stories, that we were average kids who went to IIT, and if you start believing in yourself, you start working towards your goal with the passion and love rather than just hard work, right? You will definitely reach there. Initially, they did not believe. But finally, out of these 33 odd kids, 11 went to top 7 IIT. And from there was a learning for us. And that is what I tell each of my teacher. Never, start by tagging a student. Because as teachers, I have seen in a lot of coaching, that they say, oh, this student will get into IIT, I will teach this student. This student will not get into IIT, or this student will not get into NEET, I will not teach that student. But I think there are a lot of students who gradually, if you start believing in them, they start believing in themselves, then suddenly they start moving towards a certain goal and they improve. And ultimately, what we don't want at the end of the day is, not everyone will become IITian, not everyone will become a doctor, but everyone can improve. And as a country, we want people with lot of self-confidence, lot of motivation, lot of self-belief, because not everyone will be computer scientist, right? Yes. There are so many things to do, and everyone will have certain things to do. And if you are doing that thing with confidence, with self-belief, then our country will be number one in the world. And that's what we all are fighting for. And that will only start if we start believing in you. So that is what Vedantu is all about. We try to talk to you, talk to all the teachers, that believe in the kid, make them believe in themselves, and ultimately they will change and the nation will change.
Yes sir. సో అదే మేము వేదాంతులో చేసేది. సార్ చెప్పినట్లుగా సార్ చాలా క్లియర్గా ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్తో చెప్పారు. ముందే తెలుసు ఈ అబ్బాయి చాలా తెలివైన వాడు, వీడికి ఐఐటీలో సీట్ వస్తుంది, నీట్లో సీట్ వస్తుంది అని చెప్పి నేను వీళ్ళకి టీచ్ చేస్తాను, వీళ్ళకి ఎలాగో మార్క్స్ రావు, వీళ్ళకి ఎందుకు టీచ్ చేయడం అని వదిలేయడం, ఇలాంటి డిఫరెన్సెస్ ఇక్కడ చూపించబడవు. సో వేదాంతులో ప్రతి స్టూడెంట్ చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. బికాస్ మేము ఆ స్టూడెంట్లో చదువులు ర్యాంకుల కన్నా వాడు నమ్ముకునేలాగా, ఒక స్టూడెంట్ తనని తను నమ్ముకుని సెల్ఫ్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్తో సెల్ఫ్ మోటివేషన్తో ముందుకెళ్ళగలిగితే, ఈ రెండు వాళ్ళలో డెవలప్ చేయగలిగితే వాళ్ళు లైఫ్లో ఏదైనా సాధించగలుగుతారు. సో ఈ సెల్ఫ్ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ని సెల్ఫ్ మోటివేషన్ని మేము పిల్లల్లో ఇన్కల్కేట్గా చేయగలిగేలాగా చేస్తున్నాము. సో దాట్ ఈస్ వాట్ మాకు ఏపీ సార్ కానీ, పుల్కిత్ సార్ కానీ, వంశీ సార్ కానీ వీళ్ళందరూ మాకు చెప్పేది కూడా రెగ్యులర్గా ఇదే, అండ్ వేదాంతులో జరిగేది కూడా ఇదే. సో దాట్ వాస్ వెరీ వండర్ఫుల్ to talk to you, sir, and you have given very valuable information and very motivational words to all the people over there, sir. So thank you so much, sir.
Happy to be here, ma'am, and thank you, students, and thank you for believing in us. I think good luck to all of you.